even still. Karan, Johar, please put your hands together for Karan, Johar. He's the only person that I get nervous in front of, so I have cue cards. Most of you have seen me without cue cards, but he's the reason why these cue cards are there. The next person is a person, when you talk about fashion, beauty and culture colliding, she's become the northern star that guides. She stopped every chart in India and now she's making India proud. You know, I know you're excited to see her. I know you don't even need the introduction. So I'm just going to skip to the very end and say she's the Rani of a billion young hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for Alia Bhatt. And I've left him for the last. Guys, you need to be silent and let me finish these introductions. Otherwise, they'll say, for Karan, you gave such a long introduction, for us, it's only one line. But this man is a person whose energy I think all of us out here and on screen cannot match. He's the living embodiment of a Bollywood movie on a caffeine high. He's a force of energy, a fireball of talent, and the man who defines the very word entertainment. From the swagger of Bittu Sharma to the formidable warrior Bajirao Mastani, and from Kabir Mehra to Kapil Dev, he breathes life into every character he embraces. The very definition, in my humble opinion, of Bollywood's irrepressible spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Ranveer Singh. Please, after you, wherever. Come here. That was, yeah, but that's okay, whatever. The director got it. The director directed it eventually. Yes, well, thank you. I promise that was not planned. But thank you for doing this, the three of you. It means a lot. And you know, the really exciting part about this is I love the energy out here. But there are 50,000 of these that are online from Srinagar, as you will see on the screen, from Srinagar to Kanyakumari and Agartala to Ahmedabad. A huge round of applause for all those guys on the screen. From the Zoom, yeah. Yeah, look. You know, and I want to start with, I told them right at the start that the three of you think that these are the smartest young people in the country and the smartest young people in the country, so we should be well behaved. But as soon as the three of you came out, then I think everybody got into the Bollywood spirit that we so much love. But let me start by asking you this. You know, I yet have nervous energy when I go back to school because you were standing in front of your school principal. Here you're not standing in front of principals from one school, but you're standing in principals from 100 plus cities and 100 plus principals who are in front of us. How does
Ma'am, it wasn't me.
How does it feel to go back to school?
I think we should really ask this question first to Alia because it's more recent in her memory. My school memories date back 36 years. So Alia, how does it feel to go back to school? She's a proud Jamna by...
Yeah, I'm a Jamna by but to me, like my school time was the best memories I made. I have sometimes like vivid dreams about, hanging out with my friends by the water cooler and PT class and bunking class and all this stuff. And I actually, my grain of being an actor started from there. I did all that theatre and participated in all possible competitions. It feels great to be back to school. I always get nervous in front of principals, so I will always say good morning ma'am, good morning sir, and try and just stay out of the way because actually I'm very naughty at heart.
And what about Ranveer?
See, all you naughty kids, if you're naughty, it's okay.
You believe that?
You might turn out all right.
You were also naughty, I feel.
You think?
Yeah.
I was a terror.
Actually, you were telling us something very important right now in the green room. Why don't we share that with everyone?
Yeah, I used to participate in Model United Nations. I was a very accomplished delegate, multiple time best delegate winner, Ranveer Singh.
Wow. No, but, and Karan, I want to ask you this. You've been a principal to generations of Bollywood stars, whether it's Alia, whether it's Ranveer, whether it's anybody else. Therefore, I'm not going to start with you right now, and I'm going to first ask this to Ranveer and Alia. How is Karan Johar as the principal of a movie? Is he like the strict Amitabh Bachchan from Mohabbatein? Or is he like the dramatic Miss Braganza from Kuch Kuch Hota Hai? Who is Karan Johar as the principal of a movie?
आप बताएं, what do you think? Is he Prerna Pratishtha Ranushasana? Or is he Miss Braganza? Aha!
Okay, I think Karan is Karan. There's no one like Karan. We need to make a new character for him. Huh?
Well said. I think Karan is no school principal. Karan is a student of life, art and creativity.
Now they put Karan on a pedestal which is compared to nobody else, but you deserve it. Karan, therefore my question to you is, cinema...
I'll tell you why I say that. It's because here's one man, if I know one, who wears his stature very, very lightly. He's one of the most eminent and prominent figures in the history of Indian entertainment. His contribution cannot be emphasized enough, and he's still going. He's just getting started. But he's so cool and casual about it, He never imposes his stature upon you. He always speaks to you like an equal. He has respect for everybody. He treats everybody the same, and he is one of the most remarkable individuals that I've had the good fortune of knowing and collaborating with.
How lovely. Huge round of applause for Karan Johar. Now I have many a story about the same thing where he's essentially a person who is approachable, and when you meet him at that juncture, of course when you see him, you know it's Karan Johar, but if he were just to simply talk to you, you would say that this is another person who believes in young India and therefore is able to make movies that young India loves. So thank you Karan for doing what you do. But let me come to this. Many say that cinema is a reflection of society, but I personally think that society is also a reflection of cinema. And it influences young impressionable minds. Today, with the advent of OTT, it is allowed for creative freedom, but many people feel that it's redefining the cultural fabric of our country. What are your thoughts about this? And put Rocky and Rani in context, your new film in context of this.
What a loaded question to begin with. and it's critical to answer this from the most honest space possible. So firstly, I do believe that cinema is a reflection of society and vice versa, because it also draws from, literally sometimes they say that, you know, there's an exaggeration in Indian cinema, but a lot of those situations depicted on celluloid are actually very, very close to reality. And as a filmmaker, I've only drawn from human observation, from observation of the community that surrounds me, the society we live in, the people I interact with. It's very critical that, you know, you understand the syntax of your surroundings, and then as a writer, as a filmmaker, you tell that story. Of course, some of us who've grown up in urban India have a certain understanding of those dynamics and relationships. And there are some others who are privileged enough to actually be exposed to the rest of India, can tell those stories with equal abandon. I do believe that the content today is definitely broadening the human spectrum where it comes to, I think, relationships and pushing the envelope and not sugarcoating it and not doing puff pieces of love and romance. We are showing the grey areas, and you have to know, as students, you have to know that life is way beyond black and white. We walk the path of grey every day, and that's not a bad thing, because you're actually, grey is a representation of your vulnerable side, of your true side. And I think whether it's OTT platforms, streaming services, or New Age cinema, all of that actually exposes the vulnerabilities of human beings. And I think that's the strength of our content today. It's not about depicting dark characters and pushing the boundaries where it comes to showing things that are explicit. It's really actually about showing the grey. I've seen so many series actually that just speak about the grey. In cinema, though, we like the larger-than-life, over-the-top, melodramatic storytelling, which also what audiences want when they go into a cinema hall. They don't want to see that the harsh realities of life. They do want to see the celebration of life. Rocky or Rani ki Prem Kahani is way beyond just being a Prem Kahani. It actually speaks about so many things, which is not reflective in the promotions of the film or the content and the units that we put out there. It's actually talking about so much more. It's probably, I think, my most commentary-based film, but it's not in the garb of anything preachy. It's actually in the garb of entertainment, which is the best way, I believe, that you can actually express something, is actually coat it with entertainment and it gets better understood. Maverick filmmakers like Rajkumar Hirani have actually done that so beautifully, and this film is actually a step in that right direction. When you see the character of Rocky and Rani and their individual families, there's a lot to kind of absorb and learn, but also be very humored by. You know, it's a film that I was actually dying to tell, and sequences in the film will remain with me as my most favorite moments in my trajectory as a filmmaker.
Wow, so this is by far,
And what a huge honor it is for us to be a part of that. I mean, it's Karan Johar. He's the maker of Kuch Kuch Hota Hai and Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham. Like, these are iconic films that we've grown up on. So for you to say that means a lot, Karan.
And I do believe that. And I also feel like I've grown as an individual from the first film to this, because when I remember I made Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, and I firmly believe that the gender politics of that film are all wrong. They're all wrong. It is propagating incorrect, gender politics, because it's about, there is a lot of surfaceness in that film. But of course you have nostalgia, so you love it. But you don't scratch the surface of the film and see that what Rahul is doing is actually not something that I wish the Rahuls in this audience, representing all the boys in this audience, would be.
Woke zamane mein nahi chalti kuch kuch.
It's not about the woke. It's about what the dynamics you show in cinema and how it is a strong representation of how it can translate into belief today. Rahul was like saying all wrong things. He was saying, "Hum ek hi baar jeete, ek baar marte." That's all everybody knows. Hum ek baar pyar karte, but he got in love twice. Hum ek baar shaadi karte, he got married twice. So he was contradicting himself through the film. And then I remember Shabana asked me,
"Don't you cancel my Rahul?"
yeah, there's that. That's what I was going to say. It was one of the best movies that you've seen.
No.
Yeah.
It's one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah.
No, I think he means like if you were to release that
Yes.
today a lot of those points would come across,
Yeah.
but I also look at it in a way that he said all those things, but he contradicted himself and he had growth, which was also what you're talking about, great.
But I'm
That was so
talking-
current even at that time.
But I'm also talking about the growth that possibly my storytelling has taken, because today my Rahul wouldn't be so surface about his choices, you know. I remember
But
Shabana
you made
Azmi,
some
I
really
don't-
mature themes as well, like My Name is Khan,
Yes,
Ekale Mushkil,
that happened all later. That happened later. But I was like, I remember Shabana.
and then Student of the Year, like the deepest one
The
of them all.
deepest film, yes. Absolutely spoke about the Student of the Year was my deepest cinematic piece of work. And I'll tell you why. I know we are saying this in humor, but it was deep of me to understand the genius of Alia Bhatt even then. I think my deepest contribution to Indian cinema has been the prolific Alia Bhatt. I mean, when I saw Gangubai, I was like, huh? I was like, how is she doing this?
Ye to
Who
meri
is this
bachchi hai.
person? Who is this person? Who is this actor? When did she grow up? Like, when did, because I've seen her like my own child. Like, my parental instinct came when I got to know her. And I'm like, my daughter is like playing this incredible part with such abandon. And I was like, this is not thanks to me. This is something she's done on her own. I haven't taught her any of that. She actually went on her highway all on her own. And I think now, as directing her this time and directing both of them, and I think I've taken over from where Rishabh started and started monitoring this, this session. But I have to say this, that I worked with both these actors, and I couldn't annul the fact that I directed Alia before because she was another actor. I didn't know her as the way she is today. I don't know that Alia Bhatt. I know this Alia Bhatt. I know this Ranveer Singh. And I had one chameleon as an actor. Ranveer is nothing short of a chameleon. He gets into the skin of the character in a way where you forget he's Ranveer Singh and start looking and believing that he's Rocky Randhawa. When you see the film, you will forget he is Ranveer Singh, just the way you forgot he was Ranveer Singh in '83, or Jayesh Bhai Jordar, or Bajirao Mastani, or Alauddin Khilji. One of my closest friends saw the film and said, I want to be Rocky's friend. And that is what the feeling I hope that all of you get, that you hope that you have a Rocky in your group of friends. Both of these actors were feeding off each other's brilliance in a way that only a director can hope and imagine for. I was just sitting awestruck behind the monitor and hoping that, you know, the shot doesn't end, the take doesn't get over, because they just are something totally special. You saw a beat of that, or rather much more a beat of their initial chemistry in Gully Boy. And there were 8 scenes they had together, and every time they came on, I was like, these are my favorite parts of Gully Boy. And when I met them, and I was like, just give me a dose of that chemistry and take over as Rocky and Rani, and we'll have our Prem Kahani.
Oh, nice, fantastic. And you know, Karan should have moderated the session. I think that would have been that would have been beautiful. But the way you've covered the entire thing, and I want to just build on from that, because you beautifully brought out a few things which lead into my next question, which is, I've always felt, I did a little bit of theatre, could never reach where you all have reached, but I did a little bit of theatre, and I always felt that when you do theatre, when you act, it's like studying subjects, right? Like you are studying maths and history. There is no commonality between maths and history, but at the same point in time, there may be some parts of maths and some parts of history that may come together. Now, don't ask me how. Perhaps we can ask them how. But I want to ask you this. Is there a way that when you perform a particular role, like say for example, when you acted, like he rightly said, as Kabir Mehra, or when you perform Gangubai, do you bring on those to your new characters which are Rocky and Rani, or is that a completely different subject, like how technically maths and history are completely different subjects? So is that the case, or is there some thing that goes on from one character into the other?
Well, I think it's more like an exam. You know, the beats are more or less the same. You prepare for it, you study for it. This is my process personally. You do your homework, and then you learn everything, and hope that you absorb all of it, because when the time comes, it should be retained in your system. When the exam date, which is the shoot date for us, comes up, you kind of revise everything that you've studied. And then, you know, it's like show time is like game time for an athlete or exam time for a student. So the beats are very similar in that sense.
You know, I also feel like it depends on how you choose your characters and how you place your films. Because if you're doing, say, love story, then there's bound to be some trickle effect of those characters into each other. But if you do a love story, then you do a drama, then you do a comedy, then you do a thriller, you try and find people who are very different from each other so that they don't overlap into each other. So you get these words like chameleon, you get to say that, oh, she's or he's so versatile. At the end of the day, you want to be slipping into what are you doing?
It's just distracting me.
Okay.
Trying to focus on your answer. 'Cause there is a lot to learn from you as an actor.
But now I forgot what I was saying. Basically, you understood, na? Ki
I
ek alag hona
What
chahiye
is your,
dusre se.
how are you in maths?
How was I in maths? See, they are already laughing because they are like, ye to matlab, ye to
It's
matlab.
rather presumptuous of you guys.
No, actually, honestly, guys, I was not bad till
Oh.
a certain grade.
Okay.
Then I decided, okay, I'm not dissing maths. Maths is great but if you need it in your profession, then you should focus. Then I decided, पर ये तो चाहिए ही नहीं. तो मैं क्यों इतना focus करूँ? Why am I working so hard? There was a competitive spirit within me which needed to kind of do it. But I didn't drop maths. I had the option of dropping it. I didn't drop it. I took
This
it.
is good.
Maths is rubbish. You don't need it in life. Yeah, baby. You hear that?
But then maybe some students working hard at maths and you've just told them they don't need it in life. Poor things, they're going to feel so sad and confused.
Trigonometry, algorithm level. Chalna, yaar, chalna.
All of you don't like maths? Make some noise.
You know actually where maths helps you. It's not the numbers and the calculation and the formula that you need to be quick with forming. It helps you in your day-to-day life to be able to think on your feet and to be able to make most with what you have and make दो का दो चार का चार उसमें मिलकर के A into B into C into R whatever. You know. But the point is it should prepare you for life. And I feel there should be a whole separate subject which is dealing with life.
वो कोस्टा थीटा ये वो आज तक मैंने यूज नहीं किया.
See, they're doing it. I'm not doing it.
dissing maths, huh? Just let it go.
Oh, the math god will be so upset
They may.
with me.
But Ranveer was
ऑप्शन मेरे जमाने में ऑप्शन क्यों नहीं था यार ड्रॉप करने का? आजकल के बच्चे लोग को.
Ranveer, is there a subject that you didn't like? आपको पसंद नहीं था?
Which one do you think, sir? Which one do you think?
Which one do you guys think that you didn't like?
Mathematics.
Mathematics.
Yeah. मतलब मैं तो 5वीं में 5 बार फेल.
I didn't like science. I used to cry in my exam.
But there are 3 prongs in science. There's chemistry, biology, and physics.
The bio I loved.
हाँ.
Chem we have. Physics मेरे को तो कुछ समझ नहीं आया. मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ कुछ समझ नहीं आया.
Mind that doesn't appreciate or understand math and stuff, invariably you're not going to like physics. It's the same.
I just didn't understand physics.
No, I just like.
But when I look at my daughter, I say